I don't know about you. I've been seeing a lot of the videos making fun of Ice Cube's performance in the War of the Worlds Amazon movie that for some reason they released onto the world. And actually, it's funny. It's like I can't even laugh. I can't even say anything because I feel like the faces he makes when he's looking,
What is this?
like that's the face I make a lot of the time whenever I'm looking. Whenever I'm trying to make these videos. I'm so confused. I'm so confused half the time. So, can hypnotherapy actually hurt you? So, today we're going to talk a little bit about what some hypnotists won't like to talk about, which is the real risks, the red flags, and the reasons that I may turn away a client when I think that hypnotherapy is not in their best interest. If you're considering hypnotherapy for anxiety or for any other issue, you need to hear this first. Hi, I'm Keisha Dent. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I've worked with many women. And I've seen, of course, both incredible transformations, and I've also seen a couple unfortunate situations that have happened with unqualified practitioners. So today, I'm going to discuss really the honest truth about hypnotherapy safety, no sugarcoating, and just kind of talk about some of the things that I think are important and I think that is worthy of consideration. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the real risk. Are there real risks? And the first thing I want to say is I think hypnotherapy is an amazing methodology, an amazing practice that can create incredible changes in your life. But there are, like anything, like any practice out there, like any methodology out there, risk, right? Is not something that is really for everyone. I do believe that most people can see benefits, but I do believe that it is not for everyone. So first of all, and this is a thing that I think is can really be where the danger can come in. I would say the number one risk is working with unqualified, untrained, whatever goes sorts of practitioners. So I have had women come to me after sessions who came from work with hypnotists who had zero real training. And I kind of want to put hypnotist in quotes here. They kind of just decided that they're going to do it, you know? And this is the thing. The results can include things such as inappropriate suggestions. They can include like re-traumatization. They can include the implanting of false memories. Though I don't believe it's necessary to have a master's or a doctorate to practice hypnotherapy, I do think it's important to have at least one certification, especially one from a hypnotherapist or from a hypnotherapy organization, as opposed to someone who just does like aura or energy work or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with spiritual methodologies. Like, I love spiritual methodologies. I live for them. I practice them. I love, anything about me. I love my astrology. I love tarot, for example. But hypnotherapy is a practice that I think should be respected and studied and taken seriously as its own practice rather than haphazardly picked up and lumped into other practices. I also think it's a good idea for hypnotherapists to be a member of like a hypnotherapy or a hypnotist organization and to be, constantly working with, communicating, bouncing ideas off other people in the industry, and to do ongoing education. So, like all practices, all careers, all methodologies, we never know everything there is to know, no matter how long we've done it. And it's important to keep learning and to keep improving. And if you see these sorts of situations, for example, me personally, I currently have two separate hypnotherapy certifications. One from Wendy Marin, who is a very knowledgeable, decades-long experienced hypnotherapist here in the area where I work. And I also have a certification with Marissa Peer, who is a rapid transformational hypnotherapy a practitioner of many years and is one of my favorites. She's very, very well known. And I want to get more. There are actually other hypnotherapists that I hope to be able to study with in the future. And I'm also part of the National Guild of Hypnotists. And there are many different organizations out there. But if you see someone who is part of organizations, right, that tells you that this probably isn't like a passing thing for them, right? This is something that they're very serious about their studies, and they want to stay on top of their studies, and they want to learn more and more. And anytime you encounter that, that's a great sign that you're likely in good hands. Also, and this is important too, there are side effects of working with hypnotherapy that can be unpleasant, right? But they're actually normal and can kind of throw you off a little bit. And they're often signs of the work happening. Because at the end of the day, what we do here is we're doing deep work on our emotions, right? And all of the information that our mind has taken about ourselves, about the world, and applying it to our lives, right? We're changing that. We're encountering that, and things such as like vivid dreams, like emotional sensitivity, feeling different or feeling weird for a few days, feeling upset, right? These usually mean the process is working. But oftentimes, this can be packaged under the dangers, right? Because if you get this work done and you find that you're actually feeling unsettled, that's not always a bad thing. Like that actually is often a sign that it is working. So who shouldn't do hypnotherapy? So I actually will turn away clients, prospects when hypnotherapy is inappropriate. For example, there's a few things like if you have active psychosis, schizophrenia, severe personality disorders, active substance abuse, and this thing it definitely is important as well. Any of those, hypnotherapy can be destabilizing, right? Without proper medical supervision. And it's just often just flat out not appropriate for a lot of people in those categories. Also, if you're on certain if you're on certain psychiatric medications, this affects how you may respond to hypnosis as well. So that's important to share that. And I do always ask that when doing the onboarding process. And here again is something that doesn't happen, right? So another thing that comes up often, you won't and can't get stuck in hypnosis. You won't do anything against your nature, against your moral code. You won't lose control of your mind. So these are Hollywood myths that keep people afraid of getting the help that they actually need when hypnosis could actually be helpful for them. This is because primarily your mind has two jobs, and the first job and the most important is to keep you safe, and the second is to get you what you want. Now, these two things, these two missions often will conflict, which is where we run into trouble, right? We want and desire A, but we are pulling back and instead doing B. And this often can come from the mixed missions, the two differing missions, the two horses pulling in opposite directions that our minds are trying to carry out. So when your mind is trying to do the first and the most important thing, which is keeping one safe, it naturally will begin to put down anything that's outside of your moral code. It doesn't see safety. And for example, me telling you to rob a bank or something like that, it's not going to want to do that because that violates everything that you're about. And unless you are a bank robber, and your mind isn't really going to want to comply to that, right? So again, the real danger isn't hypnosis itself. It's working with someone who really doesn't know what they're doing, and not yet necessarily because they're nefarious. So yeah, there are some out there. I think that's a minority, but it's mostly that people who may genuinely even want to help other people, but they don't really know what they're doing. And it's important to know what to look out for and how to help people in a proper and healthy way. So when you're speaking for someone, there could be a couple of red flags that you may be tipped off of where someone may not have exactly the sort of hypnosis training that you may be looking for. So number one, it can be that they can't clearly explain their training or certifications. And they, even beyond that, I would even argue, don't seem to care either and don't have any sort of training, and I think that's important to pay attention to. Number two, they may promise to fix or cure trauma, And this is definitely language that, again, it could be well intentioned or not. But we try to lean away from that because at the end of the day, anytime we are trying to create change, we are trying to create relationship with your patterns, relationship with your past, relationship with your habits, relationship with all parts of you, right? And it is important to not say fix or cure because this implies that our relationship to change and to self-improvement isn't an ongoing journey in a relationship and just something that can just quickly be fixed with a magic pill. And that's not really what we want to do. And in fact, it is quite common that as we move through life, right? Because you are not in a vacuum, you are a person who is constantly being triggered. And oh, like these people, they will be triggering you. They be triggering you, pushing your buttons every day. And it's important to remember that you're a work in progress. Like you are a living, dynamic entity. And you're going to have forward progress and you're going to have setbacks. And then you're going to move forward again when you're doing well, right? And you're going to move back. And when Earth life presents those setbacks, you should also be given the tools to be able to compassionately move yourself forward again. The next one is they keep you coming back again and again and again without clear progress markers, right? Like something that can create dependence instead of healing. And it's important to make sure you're getting feedback from someone that you're working with as far as if you're progressing, if they think this is working for you, etc. And another one is they won't work with your medical team, or they think that what they have to offer is better than your medical team and your medical options. If they are pressuring you to give up medication, all that stuff, yeah, or try to replace it, like that's probably something that is not so healthy either. Hypnotherapy is not the same thing as counseling, as traditional talk psychotherapy. And that practice is amazing. It's wonderful. I partake of it myself. And this is something that can be used in tandem with that when appropriate. So ethical hypnotists, they do comprehensive intake. They explain their process clearly. They're open and ready to have a nice conversation with you and not pressure you into making a decision. They respect your boundaries and they also respect their own limitations. So they should welcome your questions and technically not get defensive, right? So I love hypnotherapy and the long-term effects of quality hypnotherapy are incredibly positive. Things such as sustained anxiety relief, better decision-making, unstoppable confidence, just that priceless, calm, peaceful, amazing feeling when you feel like you are on the right track in life, right? When you're making good progress, you're doing well for yourself. I love that feeling. It is so, so worth it. It changed my life. It's changed the lives of others, and it likely can change yours as well. So if you're unsure, got questions, then sign up. We'll do a call. All right, let me know what you're going through, and let's spend some time and map out some next steps for you, as well as if hypnotherapy is a great next step. So what questions do you have about hypnotherapy? Drop them in the comments. Let me know what's going through your mind. Let me know what questions you would like answered. And definitely subscribe if you want more tips, more information, more questions answered. I'm here for you. Just let me know how I can serve you and what you're looking for, okay? So that is it. Again, my name is Keisha Dent. I am a certified hypnotherapist. And I want to remind you always that in order to change your life, you must first change yourself. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next time. Take care.